Hello, Patreon backers. Thank you for joining. As always, leave your questions in the Discord channel for this Patrons Ask GN episode, or, well, actually for the next one, because we can't go back in time and refilm this one with the new ones. A couple questions this time. This is just after the RTX launch. So we'll start with Spacejamflam, who said, do you plan on doing deep dives, TM, into RTX-suite games and applications as they arrive? Definitely we do, if they arrive. Still waiting for something. We'll probably start looking at the Nvidia Asteroids demo that they did and the Star Wars demo and just explain what's going on. We have a video coming up soon, if not already when this goes live, where Andrew and I talk about some of the graphics effects that Nvidia did in their demos for games that they showed but aren't publicly available yet. So yes, definitely. It's just a question of when they become available. And we also need to look really closely at, like, did these developers not use traditional rendering effects? Because that's not really a fair comparison. Like, if you're not putting forth your best to make a game look like it can look today, and all you do is toggle RTX and you do nothing otherwise, then it's not a fair comparison. It's going to look bad. Because a lot of the graphics ultimately can be tricked into existence. You can make it look pretty damn close. Some things like the Soul demo, where there's probably, you could do like an environment map or something in that tunnel where he's going up on the elevator, but realistically that's a bit more difficult to do without ray tracing. So there are instances where it'll be useful, but yeah, we'll look into it for sure. We also want to do some Blender benchmarks and maybe Unreal once they update their software to support RTX. Right now there's no actual support for it, but the plan is yes. Next question, metalshark, who says, are there any benchmarks using more than one NVLinked 2080 Ti? NVLink is having issues in general with these cards, but also more than one I don't think is possible. I think they only have one NVLink. It's not like SLI where you could bridge multiple. So NVLink with with the compute cards, you could do more than one. I don't know if you can, I am almost positive you can't do more than one with the 20 series GeForce cards, so I don't think you'll see any of those. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I don't think you can right now. IonParty said, would it be possible to solder another chip of GDDR6 into the missing spot on the 2080 Ti since it has one missing chip? Would like to know if I could sell my other kidney for bragging rights to have the only 384-bit 12GB VRAM on the 2080 Ti. Well, it's a good thing you asked before you sold your kidney, because the answer is no. So we talked about this with the 1080 Ti, and this actually, I should probably migrate this over into like a main public-facing video at some point because it's a common question and it's a good one. But just for this, for everyone in the Patreon group for now, the reason the answer is no is because if you look at our architecture video and specifically look at the table where I had the specs, better look at the article because I had a correction in there for the core count, but the rest of it's correct. So we have a memory controller's number in there, and it's 11 on the 2080 Ti. It's also 11 gigabytes of memory, and you could get 12 memory controllers or 12 gigabytes of memory, but you'd have to enable the remaining TPCs and SMs to get that memory controller. So right now they're disabled in the core, which means even if you soldered something onto it perfectly, say you had that capability, because it is disabled in the core, there is actually no way for you to get that controller accessing an additional memory module if you soldered it on. So unfortunately the answer is no on that. And then the next question, Method asked, do you guys use a teleprompter? It almost seems like you don't most of the time, but never fall into the typical no-nos of public speaking, like repeating yourself over and over, something I see pretty commonly with other YouTubers that don't use teleprompters. No, we don't use a teleprompter, and it's not even, let's see, you don't, so it seems like you almost seems like you don't most of the time. We don't ever. We used a teleprompter once for the first Spectre and Meltdown video because it was something I had to script because I wasn't familiar enough with the subject matter to go off the top of my head. But no, we don't use teleprompters. The script is on the table. It's right here. If there is a script, this one's just the questions. It's no scripting at all. So no teleprompters. Next question. A Balanced Diet asked, going forward, where do you see GN in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you plan on sticking to mostly hardware reviews and news, or would you like to expand into other areas of the market? For example, would you like to produce more content in the investigative journalism side of things? Do you do more content on how things work at a lower level, some of the 2-year RAM timings videos, etc. So some of the plans are more interviews, except ideally with like engineers, people who are really qualified to be in I would like to interview people who definitely know more than I do in the things I'm asking about, so not PR and marketing. So we'd like to do more of that. We'd like to do more stuff like the RAM timings, more animations to explain the way things work. We'd like to do more graphics content pieces, talking about how different game graphics work. Basically, I'm trying to get like back towards what I used to do with games, but not completely in games. So we keep all the hardware focus and then just talk more about how game engines work, game graphics work, as it relates to the hardware, because that's a really important piece that no one really talks about. So that's part of the plan. Investigative journalism pieces, yes, I always like doing those. It's just kind of rare that we really need to. The most recent one was that CTS Labs one, where we really dug into them, but another thing too is I'm planning on rebuilding the website and growing that side of the business gives us a safety net versus YouTube, and also growing the website would allow us an area to expand our content, because YouTube doesn't really support more than 1 video per day very well. So we can expand the content there, get more contract or staff writers, and publish additional content on the site, because you can push stuff there really as much as we want. The Google algorithm is the only thing to be concerned about, and that'll pick up all the articles. So those are the immediate plans, very condensed for the next year or so. Next one, Eidelweiss says, with Nvidia moving to NVLink from SLI-HB, do you think there will be an appreciable difference in the value of multi-card setups, or is all the bandwidth in the world not going to matter if software developers still don't develop for it? Also, how would you test NVLink versus SLI-HB? Is a test like that even possible? We can't do a straight head-to-head test because NVLink and SLI have to be used on different sets of cards, so we can't compare them head-to-head. We can compare 1080 Ti's and SLI versus NVLink'ed 2080 Ti's, but that's not a comparison of the SLI or the linking technology. It's really more a comparison of the cards and how do they scale with their respective linking technologies. We do plan on testing it, but we can't compare them directly. Is there an appreciable difference? Not sure yet. I will know probably by the time, hopefully I'll start knowing by the time this video goes live though. And last one is from Humphrey, who says, what happened to the Titan V and Volta? Wasn't that a new architecture? I kind of expected new consumer cards based on that to come out, but instead we got the 20XX generation and Turing. Is Volta dead? Volta exists in compute and HPC and not in gaming. Volta became Turing, so everything in Volta came into Turing. There's some changes, but nothing major. That's not entirely true. There were some major changes, but nothing like a complete architecture overhaul. So Turing was reincarnated, or Volta was reincarnated as Turing, and that's kind of where it went. So that's it for this one. As always, leave your questions in the Patreon Discord. Thank you for watching and for supporting us directly. We greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.